Hello, welcome everybody. This is Mornings with Michael on the weekend or a weekend update. As we can see here, Bitcoin has kind of taken off. Haven't had much selling as which had happened before. We'll see if it's able to hold. We'll look at our goal or target for Bitcoin in our PowerPoint presentation. Let's now move our word of the day. Word of the day, the epigrammatic. Epigrammatic is a word of the day of the nature or style of an epigram, concise, clever, and amusing. Taylor's epigrammatic wit always garners her lots of attention at parties. So that is a story. Let me see, we do not have our heat map, how we ended the weekend. Let me just see if I can quickly bring that up. Here's our heat map, how we ended the week. Meta was down close to 3%. Tesla was up close to 3%. NVIDIA was bouncing. Utilities, healthcare, basic materials, real estate, they were all kind of up. So that is the story with their heat map. We're all concerned about a hard landing. And with some of the news we got ahead, it is definitely a possibility. This is something you may want to look at. Right now, they're offering 25 to 45% bonuses, and you can participate in the health of the market. When the market goes up the step, goes up the step, but it does not come down the step. So it protects your money that way. And as you can see, it beats index investing by about 5% per year. So that is a story. So let us go over to our PowerPoint. This is our PowerPoint. Dow Jones and industrial average. Let me see. This is the Dow Jones. We got a shooting star. What is a shooting star? A shooting star, when it goes up and it cannot hold its highs and it breaks down near the lows, that is a shooting star. You can see a shooting star right over here. And what happened after that? Well, it continued down for a number of days before it was able to bounce back. So that is a story in the shooting star. The Dow Jones, I believe our target is right around 395. Pull back over the next couple of days, maybe a week or so. We don't really say when we'll hit the target, but similar, we got a shooting star in IWM, small caps, got two gap ups in a row. This is a Fibonacci going back to a retracement of about 50%. And you can see we just got the line drawn over here where we hit the top right here and we pulled back, bounced up again and hit this area. So we think this is a possibility of the target. That is 208.58. So we just want to bring up sticky trades, 7-point trading checklist, check off what type of candle it is, bullish, bearish, if it's up or down on volume, and you just kind of go down the list and you have your check mark and you can tell if you're positive or negative about where the market is heading for at least the next few days. So that's what we got over here. We do think this is slightly bullish, gapped up, although it's definitely a shooting star. So we got a bullish check mark and we have a bearish check mark here. It's high above the moving averages, so we got another check mark there. Volume was lower the day before. We got another check mark. Stochastics are heading down. Got another check mark there, and the CCI is heading down. And then we got this gap over here. So as you can see, the bearish trends kind of overwhelm the bullish. So kind of think that the QQ is going to pull back here. And we go back here, and this was a shooting star. It pulled back for one day and it went back up. Looks like we got a shooting star here and it did pull back for a little bit. So that is kind of where we're at. And the QQQ, we're looking for a pullback to 484.69. Let's move on to the SN. This is ABCD pattern. Got a pivot here at A. It moves up to B, pulls back to C, and then does about 100% Fibonacci retracement to D. So that's why we think possibility could pull back at least around 50% to 484.69. So moving on to the S&P 500, and we got pretty close to our target here. Got another shooting star. Hit up here, could not hold it, and it's pulling back. It's high above the moving averages. We got lower volume, even though it did bounce back on Friday. We got a pivot on the stochastics, and we got a pivot on the CCI. So we got a 550.07 on the S&P 500. Moving on to the VIX, or volatility index. We got a bunch of tight closes right in a row here. We've got a doji right over here. Looks like we got a inverted hammer right over here. We got a bearish engulfing. We got another doji. We got a bearish or a bullish engulfing here. We got another doji. And so this is kind of like a morning star with a lot of tight closes right around here. So this is gently bullish. And we got a kind of hinge right here. So that doesn't do so good, but you can just take a look at the length of space in between the fast and the slow moving lines here. And then we got to head down on the CCI. So we got a number of mixed signals, but if the S&P 500 is to pull back, kind of feel that this is going to head up. Our target is 1362 on VIX, or fear index. So let's take a look. We just looked earlier at the Bitcoin as it was moving up, getting a little warmer here. Pull back here. We think it's going to move up to 66,000. Right now it's above 61,000, so that's not too far of a stretch. It goes up to that mark right up there. I think it's going to pull back and may have a 50% retracement. So that is a story. It's kind of heading up on the stochastics and it's heading up on the CCI. See if we can get above the 0 number here so that both of them can kind of be in the momentum area. So that is the story there. U.S. banks still have over $500 billion in unrealized losses due to the decline in their bond holdings from rising interest rates. How does this impact the economy? Well, it kind of prevents banks from lending out to a lot of businesses because they have so many unrealized losses. They don't want to create any more losses, so they're going to be holding back. We just hit a monthly high in U.S. bankruptcy filings. It has surpassed the 2020 figure, the pandemic year, and this is not a good sign. Moving on, consumer discretionary stocks and healthcare are the leaders in bankruptcy filings. So it seems like the consumer has less and less money to spend. Last week, we did look at a chart showing that the savings, people had run out of their savings that they had built up from the pandemic. And so CPI headed down. People said we're all cheering, hoping for a rate cut. But Wall Street economists overlooked this one. This is a producer price index inflation, and it keeps moving up. This keeps moving up. Eventually, they're going to pass that price on to the consumers. Now, this is from Game of Trades. We can see new orders are falling. Did pick up over here. Now it is turned lower again. The last 3 times new orders hit this threshold, we ended with sharp economic downturns, which led to a significant stock market decline. And this is another troubling sign. We have passed the 2008 mortgage inflation as a percentage of income needed to keep up with your mortgage payments. Few people can buy a home with prices the way they are right now. So if you are in the market, remember to follow the 1% rule when managing risk. Don't risk losing more than 1% of your portfolio on a single trade. And this from Warren Buffett. The Warren Buffett indicator sounds the alarm. Stock market levels now surpass dot-com bubble and great financial crisis. So the valuations have gone past that. So that is the story there. Now let us move on to our charts. And take a look what is kind of moving. Take a look at our dollar index. Dollar index keeps heading down. So silver, it did gap down. Silver looks pretty good here. Gold, holding steady right there. I believe this is gold mining stock. Did break out. There was a pivot. We gapped up and it's just continuing higher. A lot of the gold mining stocks are heading higher. And some of the, let's take a look at HUT. This is in the cryptocurrency mining. Broke out at 1071. Broke out right over here. It's headed up. Had a little bit of a pullback here. 3-day pullback. Bounce off this 10-day moving average, and it looks like it's moving higher. We can look at Clean Spark. Mara looks like it's bouncing off these numbers. So with Bitcoin moving up, these are going to, oh, let me put this is a double Bitcoin. This will probably move up tomorrow morning. MicroStrategy, the 2-for-1 stock split. Bounced a little bit, but if Bitcoin is moving up, I'm sure this is going to be much higher on Monday morning. Take a look at, this is the Ensign Group, long-term care, critical nursing facilities. Had this on last weekend. Pull back here, bounce off a 10-day moving average, and now it's past the pivot area. So maybe we'll look at some other stocks in that group. But that is our weekend update report. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow on our morning call.